Welcome to Unity Fort Worth. Today is Thursday, October 29th, 2020. This is our morning pray-in. Thank you for joining us. As always, we start on pray-in with our daily word, and we can find our daily word at dailyword.org. And you might definitely want to go check that out because you could read each day's live, but you also can find other ways in which you might access future and past daily words. So our daily word for today is begin. Our affirmation is, with faith, I begin again. With faith, I begin again. Let's repeat that together. With faith, I begin again. Today, I choose to grow more fully into my potential as a divine being. My life lessons and spiritual growth are a rich starting place from which to begin anew. I have learned from my past and have exciting dreams for my future. I seize the present moment to release all that has come before and get started making my dreams come true. I begin by building upon my spiritual quality of faith, believing in my ability to realize my goals. I use my faculty of wisdom to discern the best path to follow. My imagination helps me conceive of all the possibilities for my life. As I change and grow, I trust my new beginnings are leading me to a bright, vibrant future. I am grateful for the opportunity to begin again. And our verse comes from Mark 4:8. Other seed fell into good soil and brought forth grain, growing up and increasing and yielding 30 and 60 and 100-fold. So our affirmation, with faith, I begin again. Together, with faith, I begin again. So we are looking here today that talks about beginnings, because it starts with our daily word as begin, but it says, with faith, I begin again. So we have this understanding that faith is playing a part in this, that it isn't just about the beginning itself, but what it takes for us to grow into that beginning. And when I think of beginnings, I think of that gain of something new that's leading me into something. My growth is an expansion into, a moving out of, perhaps, and often has to be a moving out of, but a moving out of, moving into, there's an expansion. And that leads me into understanding that really growth is about our spiritual life, our spiritual growth, what we're doing on our spiritual path. All of us are in that process of expanding, of growing, of moving out of and moving into. So that really is a process that takes us moving back and forth, because I might move forward, but I might also move backward in my growth. So you got to understand that for us to move and grow, that there's a recognition that this is the process, and that typically there's a release that's always taking place, and it's releasing our limitations. It's moving us closer and deeper into the truth of who we are, that expansive being, that recognition of that profound fullness that we are. So it's moving into our truth, our divine self. And when we do that, we're doing that in faith. Because faith, as Charles Fillmore, the co-founder of Unity, says, it's a magnetic power that draws into us our heart's desire for the invisible spiritual substance, from the invisible spiritual substance. And faith is a deep inner knowing that that which is sought is always ours for the taking. And if we apply that to our grasping and understanding that we're on a spiritual path, then what we're growing into and the awareness that we're growing into, the heart's desire is that spiritual expansion of knowing ourselves as our true selves. And to do that, there's a sense of um, conviction, conviction in that um, I, this is what I am doing. I am convicted in this activity. Um, I have faith, which means I'm tying together this idea that I am this divine self expressing as divine, and that I'm growing into my Christ self, and that my conviction and my faith are that what I'm doing is taking me into being the Christ. So our way shower, Jesus Christ, lived that 2,000 years ago, as we're told, but we're talking about us living that Christ today. In this expression, in this day and age and time, in this person, our unique expression. So bringing and growing the awareness and moving into our Christ as we are today. So it's a faith process because of the conviction to the understanding that um, we're moving into and believing that there is something that we are also here to express, and that is our Christ self. Um, but for us to move forward, typically we're holding on to something as why we're not seeing ourselves move forward, expand into that which we want to obtain in our life. Whether it's what we just talked about, our spiritual awareness, or whether it's the simple activities and experiences of our life that we recognize, I'm just not getting where I want to be in life. There's something that's typically being held, anchored onto, so that we are not allowing ourselves to move forward, to expand into. So there's a release that needs to take place. And to me, when we think of our conviction, that conviction to me brings up an image. And that image is really powerful in that if you've ever used a vision board, you lay out images of who you want to be, what you wish and desire in your life, and you can see it. And thus, by seeing, you can connect all your senses, all your awareness to that image. Well, to me, the conviction is also brings up an image to me like that vision board so that I can see where I'm going and that I'm not caught up just in where I have been limited, what I'm attached to, but I can see that that unfolding, that revealing in this wonderful image. And in identifying with that, I'm able to then also come back and look at then what's it necessary for me to let go of for this vision to be part of my existence? Because it already is part of my existence, but I'm not experiencing it. So what is it that I need to release to take me there? And in Unity, we talk about release in the forms of denials and forgiveness. With denials really being that we are stating clearly that which doesn't have power over us. We deny it power over us. Doesn't mean we deny the experience. I'm having an experience of sitting in a room at the moment. Not much use for me to deny that I'm sitting here. But I can deny what's transpiring having any power over me. Because ultimately, who has the power? Well, I have the power. So the denial is denying what's untrue so that we can come back, and in unity, we often come back to our affirmation, affirming the truth. I am the truth, stating that in affirmation form. But forgiveness is also part of that process too. And forgiveness, Charles Fillmore says that forgiveness is a process of giving up the false for the true. So we're giving up the false for the true. So forgiveness, lots of different approaches and styles in which we can access and pull up and look at different techniques in which you do forgiveness work. But ultimately, it's giving up what's not true here so that I can reveal and see what's true. Some ways the forgiveness process is doing exactly what we talked about in the growth. It's letting go whatever we're limiting ourselves with, that false belief. In Matthew 6, there's a great verse there that says, For if you forgive others their trespasses, your heavenly Father will also forgive you. And if you do not forgive others, neither will your Father forgive your trespasses. Now, we're not talking about a God here that's looking down upon us and punishing us because we're not forgiving. We're talking about us being that essential nature, that we're the ones with the potential forgiveness on all levels, forgiving of others and forgiving of ourselves. The God we're describing is the God here, dwelling here. So forgiveness process is us looking at how do we find more truth in what we're experiencing, but finding more truth, period, so that we can remove and move past what is not true, what is false for us. So it's allowing us to move into that new beginning, that recognition that we are convicted and have faith of our divine nature, and that we're releasing and letting go and moving into that new beginning. We're doing that, yes, with denials, with forgiveness work, but that we're recognizing that ultimately I begin again is me returning to the truth of who I am. And that I do that with my faith, my conviction that I have about the truth of who this person is and the truth of the reality of what this world is, what my life is, what our experience together is. There's a truth there, a deep spiritual foundation. And that for us, we're continually returning to that. We're growing. Our spiritual path is in the discovery of that and the opening up of that clarity of what that truth is. And wherever I'm at today isn't the right place or the wrong place. It's where I'm at today. But I'm using it to open up and to grow so that I have more awareness, more understanding. So my next moment, my next breath may reveal to me a deeper, more profound understanding of that. So our awareness today is to have faith, and in that faith I begin again, and that I am really recognizing that release is a necessary part of that growth in my life. So today, let's move into our prayer, taking with us the understanding that with faith, I begin again, and that I am releasing any and all that limits my understanding of who I am and the truth of my being. So I invite you, if you like to close your eyes or soften your eyes, to take a good breath in with me. And as we release into knowing that there is conviction here, conviction that I know that there is one power, one source, one truth taking place. And that any prayer request I have, and that any prayer request that I'm aware of from my friends and family, and then the world as a whole, that there's a conviction, that there's power, strength, a source here that's unfolding for us. And that as I embrace that, wrap myself around it and allow it to be permeating through me as me, that I know that that truth is my truth, that I am the one power, the one source, this one true nature. It is my nature, and that I have faith that allows me to have the conviction to see that clearly for myself and for others, and to hold all my requests, all that I wish and desire for my life, in that same conviction. It too is that same divine nature unfolding here. And that I take that wonderful idea, understanding, and experience into a momentary meditation of embracing that this is it. I am this, and the world makes up all that I've described. And in this place, I move into the awareness that all that I desire, all that is in my heart's desire, unfolds for me. I've drawn it to me because it is already here. It's available, and my conviction is bringing it forth in my life. And that I am divinely guided to follow my heart's desire, to have the conviction to bring it forth, and that the world is blessed by my willingness to be on my spiritual journey and path. Thus, I'm grateful for that path, grateful for the awarenesses I have, and grateful and appreciative of the people that step up into my world to reflect and mirror back to me the growth that is unfolding in my world. And with this, we say thank you, and so it is. Amen. Thank you for joining us today. As always, go and check out unityfortworth.org, for there's always something new to discover, especially in the calendar, unityfortworth.org/calendar. You'll find that there's something new added there. There's classes coming up. There are Halloween events coming up. You'll see new things happening in the months to come, as well as the old regulars that are worth checking out too. So thank you for being with us today. See you soon.